Hello everybody, I'm Mason Winkle. You all know that I'm a gamer, and one of my all-time favorite games is the original Donkey Kong. The amount of quarters I've spent on that game over the years could probably buy the entire Chick-fil-A menu. And since this year marks Donkey Kong's 45th anniversary, here are 20 interesting facts about the series. Donkey Kong was supposed to translate to stupid ape, but the creator, Shigeru Miyamoto, thought the word donkey meant stupid and got Kong from King Kong. Donkey Kong was the first ever video game to include jumping, making it the first true platformer. Donkey Kong was supposed to be a game based on Popeye. Mario was supposed to be Popeye, Donkey Kong was supposed to be Bluto, and Pauline was supposed to be Olive. Nintendo would later release a Popeye game in the following year, 1982, but it didn't do nearly as well as Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong is the 5th highest grossing arcade game of all time, with an estimated gross revenue of $970 million. It was only beaten by Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Street Fighter II, and The King of Fighters 97. The slogan, "It's on like Donkey Kong," first appeared in an Ice Cube song called "Now I Gotta Wetcha" in 1992. Nintendo would copyright that phrase in 2010 and use it in Donkey Kong Country Returns. Donkey Kong is playable in every major Mario Kart game, with the only exception being Super Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo, where Donkey Kong Jr. is playable instead. That's actually because Super Mario Kart came out during the 10-year anniversary of Donkey Kong Jr. Donkey Kong's red tie was added to give him a more domesticated and friendly appearance in more modern media. The first appearance of him with this tie was in the Donkey Kong reboot on Game Boy. Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest, featured a screen that roasted competitors at the time. A trash can with the sign saying "No Hopers" had a blaster resembling Earthworm Jim's and a pair of shoes resembling Sonic's. Despite Diddy Kong Racing on Nintendo 64 being a massive success, there was never a true sequel, rather just a remake on DS. However, there were at least 3 separate attempts to make a Diddy Kong Racing sequel, but all of them were cancelled due to one reason or another. Donkey Kong 64 holds the Guinness World Record for the most collectibles in a platformer video game, with a total of 4,841 items. There was an official Donkey Kong Country animated series that aired in the US between 1998 and 2000, comprising of a total of 40 episodes across 3 seasons. It is available to watch on free services like Tubi. Donkey Kong is one of the 12 fighters to appear in every Super Smash Bros. Game. Donkey Kong Jungle Beat was the first ever video game to receive an ESRB rating of E10+. In 2007, there was a Donkey Kong monster truck in the Monster Jam circuit. It was unfortunately retired in 2010. Donkey Kong Country Returns is one of the cheapest Nintendo games of all time. Select game stores in the UK allowed the first 10 customers to trade a banana for a physical copy of the game on the Wii. A banana in the UK in 2010 cost somewhere between 15 and 23 cents. The Super Mario Bros. Movie introduced a brand new design for Donkey Kong, making his proportions more cartoony and making his face more expressive. The first ever video game to adopt this new design was Mario Kart World. The highest rated Donkey Kong game on Metacritic is Donkey Kong Bonanza at 91%, and the lowest rated Donkey Kong game is Donkey Kong Barrel Blast at 46%, which makes sense because that game was atrocious. The only Nintendo consoles to not have a brand new Donkey Kong game were the Color TV game, Virtual Boy, Pokemon Mini, obviously, Nintendo 3DS, and Nintendo Switch. Donkey Kong is one of the few Nintendo franchises to leave Nintendo systems for a few installments. The original Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. were released on numerous consoles like the Atari 2600 and home computers like MS-DOS. Donkey Kong 3 also received a quasi-sequel on a handful of Japanese computers. Additionally, Donkey Kong Country Returns was one of the few Wii games to be released on the NVIDIA Shield TV in China. Lastly, the entire Donkey Kong series has sold an impressive 65 million units. My name is Mason Winkle. Thanks for watching.